how can I plan for long-term care a roadmap? How can I pay for long-term care? It keeps so many of our clients up at night. We're going to outline 4 key strategies. Nothing's perfect. It's a mix and match for many families, but let's talk about what these general 4 strategies are to pay for this extraordinary cost. Because the cost, as we've talked about before, can be up to $15,000, $20,000, $25,000 a month in some cases. The 4 strategies we often see and that we think work for paying for long-term care, there's 2 insurance ones. So one is just owning long-term care insurance. 2, hybrid life and long-term care insurance. So you can get, some people don't like the idea of long-term care insurance because like, well, I hope I never need to use it and that money was wasted. Although I heard a good quote, what type of insurance do you get that you actually want to use? There are hybrid policies. So if you don't use it, if you don't need long-term care, your family gets a death benefit. And it's like a life insurance policy. Government programs, IHSS, VA benefits, and Medi-Cal, the California version of the federal Medicaid program. And then, of course, the last category is just self-insurance, saving up enough, investing well so you can afford the care yourself. Some people like to do that. I think what's not an option is planning. That's what's not an option, insurance. So Mike, why don't you lead us through how we see long-term care and life hybrid policies?
Sure. There was a time when we were real critics of long-term care insurance policies. I won't go through all of those reasons, but the industry has matured and the cost has gone up. The cost of insurance, but also more importantly, the cost of care. So you have to think about this. If you're insurable, you can be in your 70s and still get such a policy. And we do work with a team of individuals, by the way, who can very efficiently, no charge to figure out if you're eligible. He can give you cost estimates. What are the options? What are the provisions that you want to include? Very significantly, so many individuals have an existing policy, a life insurance policy. And there is the opportunity for taking advantage of cash value that you might have in your policy. Sometimes you can kind of trade up for a more sizable life insurance policy. But again, many individuals will use that cash value in their life insurance policy to kind of convert that policy into either a pure long-term care insurance policy or this idea of a hybrid. And again, the hybrid means, we don't want to assume you're going to need long-term care. You like the idea of insurance. So if you don't need to cash in the policy for long-term care insurance benefits, and the bar is pretty high, you have to show that you need help with 3 or 4 of these things called ADLs, activities of daily living. So it doesn't pay for having the laundry done or your food prepared at home. You have to have a pretty high level of need. If you have an existing policy where you've got cash value, come in and talk with our insurance expert just to see what the options are. And by the way, that tends to be cost-free. You're using the cash value in your policy to purchase a different policy. I can give you countless examples where, again, peace of mind has been the goal and has been achieved by taking maybe $50,000, $60,000 in cash value, using that to purchase outright a long-term care insurance policy, no ongoing premiums, and you have maybe $300,000, $400,000 worth of coverage from that. The math does work out that way. So we have to think through that option. If you're already facing serious challenges, of course, it's too late to get long-term care insurance, but it has to be on the list of things to think through. When the industry created and started selling long-term care insurance policies, the underwriters rarely made huge mistakes. They didn't fully appreciate the number of people who would use the benefits of the policies and the extent of use. So that's why a number of long-term care insurance companies went bankrupt, went out of business. There are some companies that are taking a second look at it these days. So the fact is, whether we like it or not, they are businesses. If you want to have that insurance, they are looking at the cost of maintaining those policies and paying out benefits. And they say, look, we have to raise the rates. So generally speaking, the more concerned you are about this cost, and maybe the more this need has been in the family, sometimes it makes a great deal of sense. But here's the value of sitting down and going through the numbers with the professional who can sort of do a formula and say, look, if you do this, here's your level of coverage. If you self-insure and invest the money this way, you'll have this much coverage. And then we start to integrate it with other resources like Medi-Cal. And how do you fit all that together? That's the long-term goal for us.
There are government programs that can help pay for long-term care. I think really importantly, though, this is so the high level 3, and this is not complete. There are other programs out there, but these are the big ones that we see most commonly. So Medi-Cal can pay for the cost of nursing home care. That very notably, it doesn't really help in other categories so much, but Medi-Cal is the big one. If you have to go to a nursing home and you're eligible, that can be their IHSS, in-home support services, can provide some benefits for care at home. And if you're a veteran, there's obviously VA programs. I think there's a lot of confusion here about Medicare versus Medi-Cal. Mike, why don't you lead us through that?
The last time I looked at the AARP that asked people over the age of 60, they were asked, do you think that Medicare will pay the cost of nursing home care? 60% of those over the age of 60 said, yeah, Medicare is going to pay my cost of nursing home care if I need it. Absolutely not true. The major problem that flows from that fact is that all of those individuals who think they're covered, they're not going to plan. And by definition, they're going to waste resources. Quality of care may suffer. It goes on and on. So we emphasize the government program that can pay for the cost of nursing home care is Medi-Cal, California's version of the federal Medicaid program.
I just want to emphasize that so few people understand this. Are you taking care of your parent now? Does this worry you? We have so many people who are clients who are the members of the sandwich generation, meaning they're taking care of their kids and their parents at the same time. You can get compensated for that through some long-term care policies. So if you're getting the Medi-Cal IHSS program, VA home care, some forms of long-term care insurance can pay family members for care that they're providing to loved ones. Self-insure. So what do we mean by that? Well, it's very simply paying for long-term care by saving up enough money, investing it well. But this means paying out of pocket, right? And so this begs the question, do you have an up-to-date financial plan? Have you just been kind of trading your own stocks? Have you been keeping it in bank accounts? We see banks failing now. We see inflation out of control. Are your investments keeping up? Have you thought about this? Do you have a professional team in place? Can you cover potentially massive cost increases? The cost we see right now, probably just a fraction of what they'll be in 5 years and 10 years. And do you work with an integrated legal and financial team that understands this? Because it is really important that one hand is talking to the other. I think the key here is, let's say that you do all the investing for your family. What happens when you pass away? Do you have that team in place to make sure that if something happens to you, there's a team there to make sure investments are properly allocated and ahead of time? Do you have projections in place that say, okay, are we going to be okay or not? Are we aware of tax issues, public benefits eligibility issues? So we're going to talk about this more, but we're developing a new integrated legal and financial team for a select group of clients who are interested in this. You can contact us at gilfix.com. But if you have a great advisor who you love, that's great. Keep working with them, but let's make sure that if you work with us on the legal side, we talk to them. And if you don't have a team you feel great about, we want to make sure that it's integrated. But you need to just address your financial plan. We are not financial advisors. We're lawyers, but we have a lot of background looking through helping clients think this through from a financial planning side. So I hope those 4 categories were helpful. Easily contact us at gilfix.com. You can contact us at 650-493-8070, 650-493-8070. And as my mom likes to say, I hope everybody stays safe, sane, and healthy. Let's all stay on top of this. We got your back. Have a great rest of your day.